Good morning, Mrs. Horning's class. I know school's out, technically. If you, hopefully you'll still want to hear how the book ends, so I'm going to keep reading it. So, we left off with, it was the day after they won, and they are celebrating at school. Mr. Deming continues, and I want to give a special shout out to Melody, who really helped us secure our victory. Let's give her a special round of applause. He begins the clapping and the class joins in, but it seems more polite than sincere. I guess I'm not as cool as free pizza. Who saw the 11 o'clock news last night? Mr. Deming asked, still beaming. About half the kids raised their hands. I had missed it. I had fallen asleep exhausted after we got home. I taped it and TiVoed it and put it on my MySpace, he tells us excitedly. But now we must get back to regular class activities. He sounded disappointed. But how do we get ready for Washington? Rose asked, obviously not ready to let him do that. Teachers are so easily distracted. I knew he'd bite on that one. Mr. Deming smiles again and takes a deep breath. We have only 2 weeks to get ready, Rose. I've prepared a packet for each of my team champs, he says as he passes out the paperwork. Sorry guys, I'm outside. My dog's going crazy because the neighbor has someone spraying their yard. Just ignore her. Take this home and bring it back tomorrow without fail. In it, I've included information about how to redeem the free plane tickets and info about our hotel and schedule for the days we are in D.C. It also gives details about our practice schedule, which begins today. We will meet every day after school and half a day on Saturday. Saturday? Connor asked, disbelief in his voice. I'm worried about that too. A whole half day? If Catherine can't come, how will I go to the bathroom or eat? I'll bring bagels for breakfast, fruit for snacks, and we'll order in burgers for lunch, Mr. Deming tells him. Sounds sort of healthy, Connor responds with a grin, but I'll be there. You skip a practice and you get bounced to the alternates, Connor. I'm in this to win. Why don't you take a couple of days off, my man? Rodney says to Connor. I'd be glad to step in and take your place. Slide you right out in a blink. He sounded serious. No way, man, I'll show, Connor says hurriedly. Molly raises her hand. Mr. Deming, do the alternates go to Washington also? Absolutely. So should I buy a new dress just in case I get to be on the team? That's up to you, Molly, the teacher replies. Claire raises her hand then. Mr. D, I think I know what Molly's getting at. Since there are 6 people on the DC team instead of 4, which of the alternates will you choose? We will use a point system, he replies. The students with the 6 highest scores from all of our preliminary rounds will make the final TV team. Sounds fair? Claire looked satisfied at that, and she and Molly high-fived each other. Mr. Deming finally gets back to regular classwork, the study of Spain and Portugal, and I do my best to do nothing to call attention to myself. No weird noises or kicks or grunts for the rest of the class. No answers to questions, I know. I just sit in the back of the room with Catherine and hope the morning will pass quickly. I spend the afternoon in room H5, where we watch Tom and Jerry cartoons for 3 hours. Can you believe it? After school, Catherine feeds me a pudding cup and some juice just before it's time to go to Mr. Deming's room for our first practice. She frowns as I finish my last sip of juice. What's bugging you, Melody? She asks. You should be on top of the world, but you're acting like somebody just popped you in the nose. They don't want me on the team, I type. That's ridiculous. You were the star last night. That's the problem. Without you, they would not have won. They're scared of me, I try to explain. They think I look funny. You never let that bother you before, she counters. It's hard to put my feelings into words that will come out right on my talker. I know the other kids are uncomfortable with me on the team. There's no other way to put it. My presence was cute at first, maybe okay for a local competition, but for the big game on national television, that's different. I'll make them stand out, and not in a good way. I start typing again. I make them look, I hesitate, then type in, weird. You're the smartest person on the team, Catherine exclaims. I drooled. So pack a box of tissues. I make funny noises, and Connor farts sometimes. I have to smile at that. No more of this feeling sorry for yourself, young lady. Let's get down to Mr. D's room and kick some butt. Okay, let's go, I type. We roll down into the room and I hold my head high. Well, at least as high as I can when it's not wobbling around. Nobody says anything more about the newspaper article, and practice goes on as usual. I answer most of the questions correctly, and by the time Mom picks me up, I feel a little bit better. But I do notice Rose and Claire and Molly whispering together as I leave. It could be about a new music video or a shopping trip to the mall, or it could be about me. How can they expect us to get ready in such a short time? Crazy. Plane tickets and permission slips, paperwork and practice. Practice every day for close to 2 weeks. Study every evening with Mrs. V. Words, cities, states, countries, capitals, oceans, rivers, colors, diseases, weather, numbers, dates, animals, kings, queens, birds, insects, wars, presidents, planets, authors, generals, laws, quotations, measurements, equations, and definitions. My head has been spinning nonstop with facts and figures, but I'm ready now. Our team is ready. Mr. D kept his promise. The 6 highest scorers from all the practice rounds were announced at the last practice session a few days ago. Of course, just like the other kids, I had to keep a mental tally of everybody's points, so I was pretty sure I'd be the one on the on-air contestants, not an alternate. Mr. Deming almost glowed with anticipation as he made the announcement. He paced nervously, a little more than a man could be dancing. "Here we go," he said. "I feel like I need a drum roll or something." "Read the list, please," Connor shouted impatiently. Mr. Deming said slowly, "The 6 members of the Championship Spalding Street Elementary School quiz team are," he paused. I thought Connor was going to throw something at him. "Rose, Connor, Melody, Elena, Rodney, and Molly. Claire and Amanda will be our alternates." "I'm an alternate?" Claire gasped. "Molly beat you by 2 points, Claire," Mr. D explained. "But you still get to come with us and cheer us on and tour the city." "But it was me who helped her study," Claire said, outrage in her voice. "That is so not fair." I just shook my head and smiled a little. There is so much that Claire doesn't know about stuff not being fair. Molly looked smug and not at all sorry. Her mother came to pick her up and the practice was over. The competition is tomorrow, Thursday evening. Assuming we win, we'll have the Good Morning America appearance on Friday, followed by a trip to the White House. More sightseeing in D.C. is planned on Saturday. Then we come home on Sunday. On Monday, hopefully, we'll return to school as national champions with that trophy. So tonight we pack. I've never been on a trip away from my home before, so we have some serious planning to do. I feel crazy excited, crazy nervous. Dad bought me a bright red suitcase with wheels. It smells like the inside of a new car. Touching it makes me smile. Mom and I went shopping yesterday, and something we don't get to do much anymore. She let me choose a couple of new outfits with jeans. None of those practical baggy sweatsuits on this trip. As we strolled down the mall, we passed a card shop. I had a brainstorm. I tapped on my board. "Go in, get card, please." "For whom?" Mom asked as we wheeled in there. "Catherine," I typed, "to thank her for helping me get ready." "How very grown up of you," Mom said, clearly pleased. "And one for Mrs. V, too," I tapped out. "Absolutely." The card we found for Mrs. V could not have been more perfect. The front was completely covered with hundreds of oranges except for one blue one in the middle. Inside it said, "You're 1 in a million. Thanks." "She'll love it," Mom said. For Catherine, I picked out a card that showed a desk full of computers and MP3 players and video games and a young woman connected to all of them with earphones. It read, "Glad you're always there to plug into me. Thanks for all you do." "You couldn't have designed those better yourself," Mom said as she paid for the cards. "Yep, pretty perfect." Around 7 o'clock, the doorbell rings. It's Mrs. V, coming over to help with the final packing preparations. She and Mom make a great team. "I've made a checklist according to Mr. Deming's suggestions," Mom says. "Black skirt and white blouse for the competition." "Check," Mrs. V says as she neatly folds those 2 pieces into my suitcase. "Check," Penny mimics. "Extra white blouse, just in case," Mom says. "Great idea," Mrs. V replies, nodding. Mom carefully folds in 2 more shirts and my favorite pair of jeans. "Comfortable outfits for sightseeing in Washington. Spending money for souvenirs, sunglasses, camera. Check, check, check," Mrs. V repeats. "Pajamas, toothbrush, deodorant, hair clips. All there. A warm jacket. No telling what this March weather will do." "Check," Penny cries. "Power pack for Meditalker, extra batteries, tissues, and wipes." "Got it." "Umbrella? For you or for Melody?" Mrs. V asked with a laugh. "Do you have your bag packed?" All right, guys, we got to stop there. I'll see you next time.